Imagine seeing a tourist carving their initials into one of the ancient columns of the Colosseum. Even without saying a word, something inside you would stir in outrage, wouldn't it? My name is Arthinox, and this is Cloaked Mysteries. After all, damaging a symbol that has survived the passing of centuries is an act of pure disrespect. But what if someone decided to use an active volcano as a garbage dump? It sounds absurd, doesn't it? And yet, believe it or not, that idea has actually been considered by scientists and engineers. It may sound like fiction, but in some places, it was tested for real. The most famous case took place in one of the most hostile environments on Earth, Ethiopia. There, a volcano known as Erta became the stage for a dangerous experiment. The goal wasn't to solve the global waste crisis. It was purely scientific and, in a way, a little morbid. The researchers wanted to see what would happen if something or someone fell into a lake of lava. Yes, you heard that right. They wanted to study how lava behaves when it consumes solid matter. And what they discovered went far beyond their expectations. The plan was simple: replace a human body with a bag of garbage. The bag would be dropped from a height of 80 meters directly into the crater. The idea was to observe the lava's reaction and measure the force of the impact. But what seemed like a safe, controlled experiment quickly turned into a dangerous spectacle. Because nature never reacts the way we expect it to. Inside Erta, the temperature reaches nearly 1,000 degrees Celsius. What looks calm on the surface is actually a fragile crust of molten rock. The moment the bag touched the lava, something completely unexpected happened. Instead of burning away instantly, it sank as if swallowed by a living beast. And within seconds, hell itself awakened. The crater began to boil violently, throwing jets of molten fire high into the air. Terrified, the scientists ran for their lives, seeking shelter far from the rim. No one had expected such a sudden, brutal reaction. It was as if the volcano had rebelled against human intrusion. But what exactly caused that explosive outburst? When they later analyzed the data, the truth became clear. Inside the garbage were traces of organic matter and water. The heat caused the water to evaporate instantly, creating explosive pressure. It was like triggering a geyser, only this one was made of lava. A spectacle as dangerous as it was mesmerizing. The experiment served as a warning: lava is not a passive sea of fire. It's a living, breathing, unstable system. Beneath the surface, it hides gas pockets, pressure chambers, and shifting densities. And the smallest imbalance can awaken chaos. The Ethiopian test may have been small in scale, just 30 kilos of waste thrown into the crater. But it was enough to almost cause a catastrophe. Now imagine what would happen if tons of garbage were dumped into a volcano. A simple natural disposal attempt could trigger a massive eruption. Some experts said that if the load had been larger, the internal pressure would have multiplied exponentially, launching molten rock and toxic gases for miles. One mistake would have been enough to turn science into tragedy. And in a way, that experiment revealed the thin line between curiosity and insanity. Because a volcano is not a landfill. It's a reminder that Earth breathes, reacts, and feels. Using nature as an incinerator is toying with forces we barely understand. And that mistake could cost far more than we realize. Humanity has already witnessed the price of arrogance. In 79 AD, Mount Vesuvius awakened in fury. Within hours, Pompeii was swallowed by ash and eternal silence. Centuries later, in 1883, Krakatoa roared with devastating power, claiming more than 30,000 lives and darkening skies across the planet. Those memories remind us that the Earth's fire never forgives. Now imagine something even more extreme. Humans using volcanoes as the final destination for global waste. Tons of garbage dumped into craters across the world. It would be like feeding the fires of hell with our own creations. And the outcome? Entirely unpredictable. There are more than 1,500 active volcanoes on Earth. If a chain reaction were triggered, the result would be catastrophic on a global scale. Simultaneous eruptions could blanket the skies with ash, plunging the world into a long night of fire and smoke. The waste crisis is real, urgent, and growing. Humanity produces over 2 billion tons every year. and a huge part of it receives no proper treatment. The temptation to find a natural escape is understandable. But the easiest path is often the most dangerous one. Transporting all that waste to volcanoes would require fuel, roads, and immense energy. It would be a logistical nightmare, expensive and unsustainable. Not to mention, most volcanoes are located in remote, deadly regions. Just getting near them puts lives at risk. Nature does not bend to human convenience. Even if we could feed every volcano on Earth, the sheer volume of waste would surpass their capacity 1,000 times over. The planet itself would have to become an open furnace. And still, the problem would persist. Because the real issue isn't where we throw things, it's why we create so much to begin with. Developed nations are beginning to understand this. Japan, the United States, and parts of Europe have been investing in clean technologies. Modern plants now burn waste under strict control, producing energy, filtering gases, and reusing materials. They are not just incinerators. They are engines of transformation. The heat powers cities. The ashes become raw materials. Even gases are turned back into energy. Meanwhile, new recycling methods keep emerging. Clothes made from plastic, paper turned into building panels, glass reborn, metals reclaimed. Every cycle is a reminder that everything can be reused, except our disregard for the planet. Volcanoes are not our enemies. They are the lungs of the Earth's crust. Through them, the planet breathes, renews itself, and creates new landscapes. Each eruption is a window into the planet's heart, a reminder that life and fire coexist in balance. Scientists study them not to destroy, but to understand their power and learn from it. From volcanoes, continents rise, islands form, and worlds are shaped. To use them as trash cans would be to defile the heart of the Earth, to smother the flame of creation with our own waste. Perhaps the Ethiopian experiment served a deeper purpose. It showed us a reflection of who we are. Our urge to erase what we don't want to see is the same impulse that drives us to destroy what we should protect. Garbage, more than matter, is a mirror of behavior. Every bottle tossed away, every piece of plastic forgotten, is a fragment of our collective indifference. The floating islands of waste across the oceans are monuments to our negligence. And the silence of nature in the face of it all is deafening. So what are we really feeding the Earth or our own demise? The real revolution doesn't come from impossible solutions, but from small, conscious choices. Recycle, reduce, rethink. Simple words but powerful when put into action. Because every act of care is a spark of hope. The volcanoes will keep breathing for eons. But we have limited time to change our course. If we wish to survive, we must respect the balance that sustains us. The Earth is not a dumping ground. It's a home. And a home is not something you destroy, it's something you protect. In the end, what truly terrifies us may not be the experiment itself, but the reflection it casts on humanity. We throw our flaws into the fire, believing heat can cleanse the past. But fire doesn't erase, it exposes. It shows what remains when all facades have burned away. The volcano experiment was never just about garbage. It was about what mankind insists on hiding. Its fears, its greed, its desire to play God. Because in some way we've all cast something into the depths, hoping it would never come back. But the abyss, like the fire, always answers. Perhaps the real mystery lies within us. What we do to the Earth, we do to the soul. We bury what we don't want to feel, we burn what we don't want to remember. And yet, everything returns. Boys. The Earth speaks, and sometimes what it gives back isn't smoke, it's a warning. So next time you look at the horizon and see a sleeping volcano, ask yourself, is it really silent or just waiting for someone to awaken what sleeps within it? If this story made you think, if something deep inside you felt that same call from below, leave your thoughts in the comments. I want to know what you believe truly happened in that experiment. And if you enjoy exploring the mysteries most people choose to ignore, subscribe to the channel. Here, with every story, we come closer to what hides beneath the veil of the world. Until next time, where the mystery might be closer than you think.